This is absolutely incredible. It is really cool to be standing where we won the World Series back in '95. I have vivid memories as a kid growing up in Atlanta of the '96 and '99 World Series. And so it is so cool to see people already lining Peachtree for what's going to be a fantastic day.
I've been looking forward to this. From the last one to this one, I'm so happy to be proud to be an elected official at this time. You know, it really boosts the energy of the city. It makes people happy. There's always a lot going on. But to win a World Series, now that's some charm right there.
It is so exciting to be the World Series champion again, Atlanta Braves. It's just, I mean, the hometown spirit is unbelievable today. People out here really dancing in the streets to thank the Braves for bringing the series home to us.
I'm super excited right now to be able to have the World Championship Braves here, about to go on a parade. They did the thing that we wanted them to do, which was bring home the victory, and they did it in unbelievable fashion. 7-0 victory in Houston. Riding down this street is going to be very, very awesome for the city of Atlanta. I remember I was a Georgia Tech student in 1995 when we won the World Championship then, and then to be able to do that now, I'm excited for the Braves, excited for Atlanta.
This is so wonderful because this is my second go around with seeing the Braves become world champions. The first time I had just gotten on council, that was in 1995. And really, I've been following the Braves since I was a little kid. Okay, so I'm originally from Rockford, Illinois, about 90 miles from Milwaukee. So I was listening on the radio, okay, when the Milwaukee Braves would come on to the radio. I was following Hank Aaron back then.
As a lifelong Atlanta resident, I was born 2 days before the Braves had their opening game. So I'm just as old as the Braves franchise is in Atlanta. So, I mean, this is huge. Coming out of the COVID experience, you know, we're all shell-shocked. We all have post-traumatic stress, regardless of the level of how COVID might have affected your life. Some people may have lost a job. Some people may have lost loved ones like I did, and friends like I did to COVID-19. You know, so having a win like this brings the city together. And having lost in the physical space, you know, the great Hank Aaron, who had been a mentor to me, a friend of my family. You know, I grew up with his daughter, Cece. Hank Aaron may not be with us in the physical sense. And his body, to be absent from his body is to be present with the Lord. And so if God is everywhere, then you best believe Hank Aaron is everywhere, because he's with the Lord. And he was with the Braves in Houston. You know, he was with the Braves every day that they competed for this championship. We miss him in the physical space, but he has proven to us that he exists. God is real. God bless the Braves. This is a big victory for Atlanta.
I'm out here today at Harper Park, also known as Ruby Harper Park, and it's on the very south side of District 12. We're out here today with the Department of Park and Recs, our tree arborists with Parks and Recreation, and also Trees Atlanta. Doing what we're doing all over the city today and throughout the month is actually planting trees. We're actually planting 70 trees here at Ruby Harper Park. The community residents are out here with me. Why are we planting trees all over Atlanta? As our city grows and development comes into our community, a lot of times we're actually cutting down trees across the city in terms of development. The city of Atlanta has a law that says if you cut down trees for development, you have to pay into a recompense plan, or recompense fees, and they pay that. With those recompense fees, what we do is then go back out and replace trees. We try to do it in the areas where the trees came down in. But sometimes we can't, so we actually now have a plan that we do it all over the city where we find places we want to replace trees. This is great because I don't know if people know Atlanta is considered to be the city among the trees. And our goal as a city is to always keep our space green. And we're proud to be planting these trees at Ruby Harper Park.
Who's gonna get all A's and maybe 1 or 2 B's? We're here today to be able to spread some love between the Atlanta Public School Systems and the City Council. I grew up in Atlanta Public Schools, Southwest Atlanta, and went to a school similar to this Barack and Michelle Obama Academy. And, we give away backpacks at the beginning of the school year, but we know that by this point, kids have either lost a backpack, some have been torn, and also some have been soiled where they've left things inside of their backpacks, and sometimes they've, spilled out and got wet and those kind of things. So when I just asked these kids, they were like, yeah, I need a new backpack. So it's important for us to continue to support our kids throughout the school year, and that's what I'm doing here today. Inside of those backpacks, we placed a hygiene kit, we've given snacks, and we've given journals and school supplies. Wanted to bless them from my office to this school.
Well, I'm here at the Capitol Apartments on Metropolitan Parkway. Columbia Residential purchased these apartments about 3 years ago and have been renovating these apartments. These apartments that were low-income apartments that had been totally neglected for years, and finally was able to be purchased from the owner who had let them just run down to nothing. And I was so proud when we, as a city, was able to actually get funding from the city and the state, as well with Columbia Residential. Noel Khalil, who God bless his soul, just passed a couple of days ago. I was so proud to partner this with him, and he actually was a part of this development. So as the apartments are being renovated, we made sure that we want to keep all the residents who were here, who were affordable housing. We didn't want to make sure we didn't displace them. Today, they're actually distributing food to all the residents in the apartments. There's about 200 or 300 apartment units here. And so today they're out in collaboration with the Food Bank, Atlanta Apartment Association, and Columbia Residential, giving out food to the residents. The fact that for the last 2 years or more that we're going through this pandemic, that we actually have built out these apartments during that phase and actually making it where folks can actually stay where they are. They don't have to struggle, they don't have to worry. We're actually helping them, supporting them, lifting them up. I couldn't ask for a better partnership with everybody involved, from the city to all the folks here today. I'm just proud that we have this and that we can lift our folks up.
We're here today for a job fair. We want to be able to connect people up with jobs. There are a lot of companies that need people. They're paying over $15 an hour. And so we're here at West Hunter Street Baptist Church. We have Amazon here. They're very anxious to hire employees. We have UPS that's here. We also have some food service companies that are here. We have some City of Atlanta departments such as corrections. Also, we have the Atlanta Fire Department. So if people are looking for new careers, or if people want to change careers, this is a wonderful opportunity for them to come out and to talk and find out how they can really make more money. So we're talking about jobs that are over $15 an hour, and I think that's real important. As people are starting to come off of the stimulus government, those government checks, they'll probably be ending in December of this year. They're going to need to be able to find jobs. And a lot of times the best way to find a job is to be face to face with that employer. That's an opportunity for a potential employee to really kind of convince that employer, I really want to work. I really want to have an opportunity to get a new career started. and I believe that I'm the person for you. So we're just very happy to be here in the West End community to be able to provide these jobs to people who are very interested.
All right, we are going to go ahead and get started here. So good afternoon, everyone. It is Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. It's 1:30 p.m., and this is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Finance Executive Committee, and I'm its chair, Jennifer Ide. We are having technical problems today. Our legislative management software company is having a very broad outage, which is unfortunately impacting Atlanta City Council. Ms. Kempson-Wright, what are we online? So colleagues, we're not going to be on eBoardroom until the outage is resolved. Ms. Kempson-Wright, are we online on Channel 26 at all, or what is the public seeing? Santana, you there?
She may be muted.
I apologize. I'm here. We are online on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Currently, let's see, Channel 26. Channel 26 does not appear to be up for some reason. It just showing the remote access information.
Okay, well, this is not ideal, but we are somewhat hopeful that our vendor is going to get us back up and running. So I think we're going to start out and see how we see if we can manage with voice voting, and hopefully we'll get some resolution before we get too deep into the meeting. So since I cannot see who is online, Ms. Kempson-Wright, will you please do a roll call for me?
Yes. Councilmember Jennifer Ann Ide.
Here.
Councilmember Howard Shook.
Aye.
Councilmember Madeline Mosby Archibald. Councilmember Andre Dickens.
Here.
Councilmember J.P. Mazakite. Councilmember Shepard.
Present.
Councilmember Matt Westmoreland.
Here.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Will you please read the remote meeting statement?
Yes, this Finance Executive Committee meeting is being conducted remotely as advertised and as in accordance with the official code of Georgia 5014-1. The meeting will be conducted in conformance with Robert's Rules of Order and the Rules of Council as authorized by the City Code. The public may access the meeting by the following conference bridge, toll-free access 404-902-5066, conference ID 151945, which was noted on the Friday, November 5th public meeting notice. The public may also view the meeting on Channel 26, citycouncil.atlantaga.gov, or the Council's YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter pages via at ATL Council. All presentations are available on the Atlanta City Council Finance Executive Committee presentation page. The agenda was published and made available on Friday, November 5th via atlantacityga.iqm2.com. Public comment was accepted between the hours of 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. on yesterday, Tuesday, November 9th. All persons present on the presentation conference bridge are requested to mute your phones and speakers. Speakers must be acknowledged by the presiding officer prior to speaking. Each council member is requested to open your Outlook email and minimize the screen to view amendments, substitutes, and informational documents which were distributed to you earlier. We thank you in advance for your cooperation. And Madam Chair, Channel 26 is up and running now.
Okay, but e-boardroom is not.
No, unfortunately, e-boardroom is not.
Okay, all right, great. And we do not have any changes to the agenda, do we?
No, we have no changes to the agenda.
Okay, then I will make a motion to adopt our agenda as published.
Second.
Can we do this by unanimous consent of everybody present?
Madam Chair, I would just, to follow the Open Meetings Act, need to call each member's name that is present. I'm sorry.
All right. Not a problem. It's going to be an extended meeting. All right, let's open the vote then. Yeah.
And Councilmember Shook, I have you as the second. Councilmember Dickens.
Yay.
Councilmember Shepard.
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland.
Aye.
The vote is closed. Madam Chair, the agenda has been adopted.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve our minutes.
Shook seconds.
Let's open the vote. Can you do the roll call vote?
Yes. Councilmember Archibald. Councilmember Dickens.
Yay.
Councilmember Mazakite. Councilmember Shepard.
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland.
Yes.
Madam Chair, the minutes are received a favorable recommendation.
Okay. I believe we have 3 comments. Let's go ahead and play our public comment.
One moment.
Committee members and staff, a special greetings to you citizens and voters who have tuned to this Finance and Executive Committee meeting. Ben Howard, Senior Advocate, Public Policy Analyst. Wednesday, November 3rd, 2021 AD will be remembered by some as the day when sunbeams escaped from captivity. A day when truth, which has been crushed to earth, began its long overdue ascent. A day when hope ever promising, but hope repeatedly rejected, defeated hopelessness, and hovered over southwest Atlanta Jonathan Dodd, Chair of the new Neighborhood Planning Unit R, announced this is a new day. The 2022 officers for Neighborhood Planning Unit R are Jonathan Dodd, Chair, Rita Hardin, Vice Chair, replacing Anthony Robinson, and Cheryl Brown, Secretary. I ask that in 2022, those of you who can and those of you who will hope enhance citizen participation by working closely with the officers and members of the new Neighborhood Planning Unit R. Together, let's talk finance.
Hello, my name is Ola Reynolds, and I live in the Monroe Heights community. I am calling in reference to 21-0-0746, and I am in favor of this ordinance in reference to the gun club park, which has been vacant for years. By having this land restored to a usable for affordable housing and green space would be a great addition to our community. Therefore, I am asking the Finance Committee to vote in favor of this ordinance. Once again, 21-0-0746. Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Yolanda Shorthouse, and I'm calling in reference to ordinance 21-0-0746. And I'm calling in favor of the ordinance. Thank you.
That concludes public comment, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you very much. We have one presentation today, which is from our Chief Transparency Officer, Kristen Dinius, and it's our Open Records Compliance Act update. Will we be able to get Ms. Dinius's presentation up online?
Yes, we will.
Great.
Momentarily.
All right. Ms. Dinius, whenever you are ready, you can jump in.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Ives. Can you hear me?
I can.
Hello, and hello to the rest of the committee. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I am going to go through this presentation. It's very similar to my last presentation. I'm going to try to go through pretty quickly since you all are going to have a little bit of an unforeseen extension due to your current voting procedures. I don't want to hold you up. So we will just move to the next slide, which is just a reminder that during City Hall closure or limited access status that we are now, we are still receiving and processing public records requests, primarily electronically. Each department has an open records coordinator that's designated to receive and process these requests. I do want to make it clear to the public that while we are processing requests, it may take a little longer to provide access to records that only exist in hard copy, as we have to coordinate physical access to those documents. My transparency webpage that is accessible off of the city's webpage does provide resources and information for people who need assistance with a request. Next slide, please. This is a screenshot of the quickest way to get to that website that does have the information about how to reach me, and also links to all of the to the contact information for all of the designated open records coordinators in the city of Atlanta. Next slide, please. So the exciting thing that I'm still working on is our open records management software project. We are in what I hope is the tail portion of this project. It was approved by City Council earlier this year in May. We executed a contract in June, and I'm currently working with the vendor to configure the software. We anticipate beginning training of internal staff who will be using the software before the end of this year. There's just a few glitches that we have to work through just to integrate the software with all of our security profiles and things like that we have in place since it does interface with the public. Next slide, please. At this point, I would like to start kind of teasing you all with some of the features of the software that I'm really excited about. The software that we're going to be implementing has two primary components. One is an internal component that we're going to be using to manage our processes and standardize them. That is called, the product itself is called FOIA Express, because the vendor who developed it works a lot with the federal government, and they use it to manage their Freedom of Information Act requests. But it is completely customizable for our needs, which has actually been quite fun. So one of the goals of using the software is to standardize our processes across all of our city departments. As you know, we have lots of city departments, and everybody has very different records. And so we want to make sure that the experience that citizens have when they request public records is standardized across the city, and their level of customer service is the same wherever they request records. We will have the ability to monitor and track requests internally and make sure that reminders are sent as appropriate and people are able to stay on track with the processing of the request. And another fun feature of the software is that we'll be able to redact documents within the software itself and store documents in redacted format. The other really interesting feature of this software is a separate public access link, and that is going to be the public-facing side of the open records management process. It will provide a one-click spot for people to access our open records process so that they don't have to wonder where to go. And that, of course, will help to streamline the processes and make it easier for our citizens to request records and to communicate with the staff that are retrieving those records. There will be an optional ability to register an account through this public access link, and registration of an account will give people some additional features that are voluntary, such as receiving automatic status updates of the stage of the progress of their request. Again, that is completely optional. People are not required to register an account in order to submit an Open Records Act request through this portal. Another feature that I'm excited about with the public access link is that there will be a reading room feature where people can go into the reading room and browse through documents in redacted format that have already been provided to the public previously, so that if something that they are looking for has already been provided, they don't have to submit a new request and they don't have to pay any associated costs with receiving those documents. Next slide, please. So this is just a reminder of the provision in the code that requires us to create such a portal as the one I just discussed, and just a rundown again, a reminder of all of the goals that we have or I have for the software implementation. My overarching goal is to make open records a process that runs in the background that we do not have to continue to worry about whether or not we're complying with the law. Next slide, please. And finally, just a reminder that open records compliance training is something that is important for all of us. I am able to provide open records compliance training on a department level as needed. I do it via Teams in the current environment, and I am able to schedule that pretty much at the convenience of each department or other group who needs training. I am still working with the Department of Human Resources to develop an online training module that will further automate and streamline that annual training on compliance with open records. And the open records compliance training continues to be a module in new employee orientation because we want to make sure that all of our new employees coming on board are aware of their obligations. And with that, we can move to the very last slide, and I'm happy to take any questions that you all may have.
Colleagues, anybody have any questions? All right. Well, thank you. Let me just make sure. Okay. I am not seeing anybody with their virtual hand raised. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Dennis. We really appreciate the update and all the work you've been doing.
Thank you.
All right. This brings us to section H of our agenda, our ordinances for first read. Ms. Kempson-Wright, will you please read in those, I believe, 6 items?
Yes. Item number 1 is an ordinance by Finance Executive Committee to authorize the mayor or her designee to enter into a cooperative agreement listed with Sterling Info Systems for pre-employment background screening services utilizing Region 4 Education Center contract number listed on behalf of the Department of Human Resources for an initial term of 3 years to begin retroactively on January 1st, 2021 with 2 one-year renewal options in an amount not to exceed $340,370.00. All contracted work to be charged to and paid from the account numbers listed. Item number 2 is 21-0923. It's an ordinance by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the Department of Finance to enter into Amendment number 3 for FC 8076 arbitrage rebate calculation services with Hilltop Securities Asset Management LLC to extend the term of the agreement of the contract on a month-to-month basis for a period of up to 8 months beginning December 28 through August 27, 2022 to provide arbitrage rebate calculation services for the Department of Aviation, General Fund, Department of Watershed Management, Tax Allocation Districts, and other portfolio in an amount not to exceed $48,625.00. All contracted work will be charged to the account numbers listed. Item number 3 is 21-0924. It's an ordinance by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into Amendment number 12 for FC 7148 citywide security guard services with Dynamic Security Incorporated on behalf of the Department of Enterprise Asset Management, Department of Parks and Recreation, the Municipal Court of Atlanta, and Department of Watershed Management to extend the term of the agreement on a month-to-month basis for a period of up to 5 months beginning October 1st, 2021 through March 1st, 2022, in accordance with Section 21163, subsection C of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances in an amount not to exceed $957,223.80. All contracted work to be charged to and paid from the account numbers listed. Item number 4 is 21-0925, an ordinance by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor or her designee to enter into Amendment number 11 for FC 8147B, citywide plumbing maintenance and services with the Plumbing Shop Incorporated, doing business as Quick Action Plumbing on behalf of the Department of Enterprise Asset Management, Atlanta Police Department, Department of Aviation, Department of Corrections, Department of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, Atlanta Department of Transportation, Atlanta Fire Rescue, and Department of Watershed Management to extend the term of the agreement on a month-to-month basis for a period up to 6 months beginning December 27, 2021 through June 26, 2022, in accordance with Section 21163, Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances in an amount not to exceed $745,000.00. All contracted work to be charged to and paid from accounts listed. Item number 5 is 21-0926. It's an ordinance by Finance Executive Committee to authorize the mayor or her designee to execute an 8th amendment to FC 6120, citywide janitorial services with American Facilities Services Incorporated, to extend the term of the agreement on a month-to-month basis for a period up to 4 months retroactively effective November 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2022, and to add funds to the agreement on behalf of the Department of Enterprise Asset Management, the Department of Watershed Management, the Department of Parks and Recreation, the Atlanta Police Department, the Department of Human Resources, and the Department of Public Works in an amount not to exceed $1,158,460.00 in accordance with Section 21163 of the Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances. All contracted work to be charged to and paid from the account numbers listed herein. And item number 6 is 21-0927. It's the ordinance by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor or designee to transfer an amount not to exceed $3,908,740.10 within the E91 R&E Fund to the E911 Critical Equipment Upgrade Project for the purpose of upgrading critical equipment and systems and for the purposes.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kempson-Wright. I believe that Councilmember Natalie Archibald has joined us. And any update on e-boardroom? Or are we going to just move ahead without it?
Yes, we did try to pull up and start the system. However, we're still getting an error. So we will move at this time.
Okay. So,
Archibald, Mrs. May I say something?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I was on at 1 o'clock, and for some reason the system had muted me, and I was voting, I thought. So I don't know if you need. I'm fine if you don't go back, but I've been on since 1.
Okay.
I mean 1:30. I'm sorry, since 1:30.
Yep. Can we go back and have it reflected in our minutes in our agenda that Archibald was were you a yes to both of those?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Chair, we will. And also, just for the public, we are using the agenda. It is available online on Channel 26 and our social media platforms so that the public may follow along.
Okay, great. I believe that Councilmember Shepherd asked that we would jump to her item first, which is item number 12. Item number 12 is 21-0851, an ordinance by Councilmember Joyce and Shepherd waiving the competitive source selection requirements contained in Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta, Code of Ordinances, and authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into agreements with performers, artists, media outlets, and sponsors for the 2022 Atlanta Jazz Festival in Atlanta, and allowing the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs to charge admission fees for select events at the festival, and directing that all Jazz Festival revenues and expenses be deposited and extended from the accounts listed below and for other purposes. There's a substitute in the packet. So if you go down to, what page it's on in the packet. 1 second. It's on page 8, I think. I may not be right about that. Anyway, it's the 4th item in our packet. It changes the caption, so let me read in the new caption. It would be an ordinance by Councilmember Joyce M. Shepherd as substituted by the Finance Executive Committee, waiving the competitive source selection requirements contained in Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta, Code of Ordinances, and authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into agreements with performers, artists, media outlets, and sponsors for the 2022 Atlanta Jazz Festival in Atlanta, and allowing the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs to charge admission fees for select events at the Jazz Festival, and authorizing that all Jazz Festival contracted work shall be paid from, and all revenues and expenses shall be deposited and expended from the accounts listed herein, and authorizing the mayor or her designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into a cost agreement for event production services with Live Nation Entertainment, Inc. for the 2021-2022 Peach Drop Festival for the benefit of the public in Atlanta, and amount not to exceed $500,000.00, authorizing that all Peach Drop contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein, to authorize the chief financial officer or a designee to execute any insurance agreements which may be necessary for the city's sponsorship of the Peach Drop Festival and for other purposes. So that's the new caption. I will make a motion to bring forward the substitute, but I'm going to vote no on it. So if you'll just reflect that after you put me down as a motion.
Well, okay. I can do the motion to bring forward.
Okay. Then let Ms. Shepherd, why don't you put Shepherd down as the mover?
Okay. Thank you. And Mr. Schiff, you're second, right?
No, well, no, you are.
I'll second. I'll second this with one.
All right, let's open the vote then on the bringing forward the substitute, which we will have to do by voice vote.
Councilmember Ide?
No.
Councilmember Dickens?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd? Oh, I'm sorry, you were the mover. Councilmember was on second. Madam Chair, the substitute is before you.
Okay. And so this basically added the Peach Drop to the same paper that was doing the Jazz Festival paper.
That's correct. We're adding the Peach Drop to this paper. We're trying to get it done so that the Peach Drop happens. We'll have time for them to begin the process. One of the things that I will say in terms of supporting this paper, in terms of the Peach Drop, is it's coming back to the city. We didn't do it last year, I don't believe. But one of the things I will say that I've talked to the mayor's office and Ms. Barkley in the mayor's office also. I want to make sure that if we're doing this Peach Drop, that we don't have anything, which is what we've witnessed in the last week with Live Nation in Texas. So I've asked very specifically for there to be a very outlined process in terms of security, crowd controls, all of that. They've explained that the Peach Drop, will be in underground Atlanta, and the Peach Drop is actually in a core portion that's below the streets. However, I'm going to ask Ms. Barkley to come on and just actually talk if she's available. I'm hoping she is and is listening, so that we can make sure that if we do this Peach Drop, that we don't have any problems like we've seen on the last week's show with Live Nation and their process.
Hi, Councilmember Shepherd. Yes, I'm here. And thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes, we do work with Live Nation on the production portion of Peach Drop. They have a really good team here, and from my knowledge, this team specifically handles Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia, so they are not the team that handled the concert in Texas. But with the Peach Drop, we've hosted the Peach Drop at the Underground for nearly 30 years. And the way that it's set up is the stage is on the courtyard, and I'll be happy to provide a site plan and our plan of action. But it's on the courtyard, and the stage simply kind of overlooks the area. And so there is no audience directly in front of the stage, so that what happened in Texas, that is almost impossible. What we do have and what most folks see on the cameras is what I consider the pit area. And you asked me about this area yesterday, and so anyone that's in the pit area due to COVID, they would have to produce a negative COVID test and or be vaccinated. That is something that we're working with the Office of Emergency Preparedness and Live Nation on, hopefully. So this area would be secured as it normally is every year. And you asked me specifically how many people this space would be able to hold, and it's 1,470 people. So it would be a very small percentage of those that attend Peach Drop usually. So that is the area that is directly in front of the stage, and all the areas surrounding the Peach Drop would be secured by APD, and also we hire an outside security company to deal with checking bags and any of the internal footprint public safety needs that we have. So we are expanding the Peach Drop area this year in terms of the number of streets that will close, and we're also looking to amplify the festival area so that people who attend Peach Drop, if they don't want to stay for the concert, they can have some type of celebratory moment on New Year's Eve, bring their family out and go some popcorn or some hot chocolate and some music that will be playing throughout the day. We'll have a DJ. So this year, it's, we're working on all the safety elements around Peach Drop. Behind the stage, everyone would have to be vaccinated, and they would be tested through a rapid testing mechanism every day. So that is one of the elements that Live Nation implements in all their concerts now, and so we're applying that same policy to what we will do backstage with Peach Drop. So, ultimately, we will lean on our emergency preparedness team and APD to lead us in the public safety element. But I believe and I feel good about this year, and I assure you it will be safe, and it will not mimic anything that happened in Texas.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that was covered because we don't need anything like what we saw in the last week happening. So we want to make sure that we are very cautious, and I was concerned about that. Other than that, I don't have any questions. I'm going to open it up, Madam Chair, unless other folks have questions. Then I ask for support. Motion to approve.
Second, Westmore.
Where are we? Is Kempton right?
Yes, I'll take the voice vote. Councilmember I. Councilmember Schiff.
I'm an aye, but the chair needs to have the opportunity to have her vote counted. But thank you.
Yes, we will go back to her. Councilmember Archibong.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens. Okay. And we're just waiting to hear from Councilmember I.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had myself on mute. I'm a no.
Thank you.
So thank you. Ms. Kempton, I have two other papers. I'm sorry, guys. I have a dental emergency that I have to get me to the dentist by 3. I'm having a dental procedure that just came up that I've got to get my tooth fixed real quickly. So I'm going to have to exit at 3 o'clock. I have a paper, item number 12 also. Can we take that? I'm sorry, guys.
12 is what we just did. So what's your next one?
I'm sorry. 24. I'm sorry, 24.
24. Okay, let's go down to 24. So 24 is 21-0874, an ordinance by Councilmember Joyce M. Shepherd authorizing a donation amount not to exceed $2,000.00 from the District 12 carry-forward account to Hosea Feed the Hungry and Homeless, Inc. and for other purposes. Happy to make a motion to adopt.
I'll second that.
All right, let's vote. Ms. Kempton, right?
Yes. Are there any abstentions? Are there any nays? Okay. This item is favorable with unanimous consent.
All right. All right. And we have 7 members present. Do we have everybody here?
We have 6 members present at this time.
Okay. Who was not with us today?
Councilmember Mazzakai is not with us today.
Okay. Okay, great. All right, Ms. Shepherd, what else do you need to get done?
It's number 38. I think it has my name on it also.
Okay, let's scroll down there. All right, 38 is 21R 4256, a resolution by Councilor Joyce M. Shepherd authorizing the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs to administer the program of municipal support for the arts as required by Section 110-38 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances through the provision of donations to eligible tax-exempt organizations and entities in individual amounts not to exceed $75,000.00 and in a total amount not to exceed $1,700,000.00 for fiscal year 2022 in accordance with Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta Charter, authorizing the mayor or the executive director of the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs as the mayor's designee to execute donation agreements, eligible tax-exempt organizations and entities necessary for the administration of the municipal support for the arts for fiscal year 2022 on behalf of the City of Atlanta, to authorize the CFO to charge to and pay the donations authorized hereby from the account numbers herein and for other purposes.
Motion to approve.
All right. I'll second that. Let's open the vote, Ms. Kempton, right?
Yes. Do we have a second?
I seconded it.
Okay.
Okay,
Shepherd motion and I second. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Schiff.
Aye.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens.
Which you guys, I reckon.
Councilmember Shepherd.
I was the second, but yes.
Oh, all right. And Councilmember Westmoreland.
In favor.
Councilmember, this item is favorable with 5 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll stay until 2:30, but then I'm gonna have to leave at 2:30. So I'll be around until 2:30, and then I'm gonna have to exit. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Do you need us to do, is 42 your paper also? Do you want us to go ahead and do that one?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry, absolutely. That's really relevant. Yeah.
Okay, let's hop on down to 42 then. It is 21-0849, an ordinance by Councilmember Joycelyn Shepherd authorizing the CFO to amend the fiscal year 22 general fund budget in the amount of $19,000.00 by transferring funds from the uncommitted fund balance in connection with a settlement approved by resolution number 21R4115, authorizing execution of a memorandum of understanding between the Department of Public Works and the Department of Finance and for other purposes. And this came to us from city utilities where it was favorable on condition. Has the condition been met, Ms. Kempson, right, for us to move it forward, or do we need to keep it favorable on condition?
Yes, the law department just recently finalized the amendment. I am sending it in email right now. I believe the caption has changed. 1 second.
Okay, I just got this. So, let's see. It's an amendment, not a substitute. Is that right?
Yes, and per the amendment or the information, this version amends Section 3 to authorize an MOU between DPW and Finance for Public Works to repay deficit funding owed to the general fund.
Okay, so that's the change in this amendment that's new since utilities.
Correct.
Okay, I will make a motion to amend.
Second, Shepherd.
All right, let's vote on the amendment.
Councilmember Schiff.
Okay.
Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens. Councilmember Westmoreland.
Yes.
The amendment is before you.
All right, I'll second Ms. Councilmember Shepherd's motion.
Councilmember Schiff.
Okay.
Is that an A?
Nay. Thank you.
Nay. Thank you. Councilmember Dickens. Councilmember Westmoreland.
In favor.
Thank you. Councilmember, this item stands approved, favorable as amended, with 1 nay. 4 yeas, 1 nay.
Okay. I think that's the end of the Shepherd papers. Ms. Kempson, right? Do you see anything else?
I don't at this time.
Okay. Then we're going to go back up to the top of the agenda.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. All right. So, we'll start with item number 7, 21-0839, an ordinance by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor who designee to execute the Fourth Amendment to Cooperative Purchasing Agreement CPS 1200570, uwork.com, doing business as Cavendis on call IT professional services with uwork.com Inc., doing business as Cavendis on behalf of the Department of Atlanta Information Management, retroactively effective from August 12, 2020, to add funding in amount not to exceed
$566,518.00 in accordance with Section 2-1163, subsection C of Article 10, Procurement of Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances. All contract work to be charged to and paid from the Fund Department organization and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. And there is an amendment in our packet that changes the amount from 566,518 to 577,636. So I will make a motion to amend to change the amount. All right, let's vote on the amendment.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Mazakite? Councilmember Shepherd?
Yes.
And Councilmember Westmoreland.
Yes.
The amendment is before you.
All right, I'll make a motion to adopt as amended.
Second.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd? Yes. Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
This item is favorable as amended. 5 yeas, 0 nays.
Great. All right, item number 8 is 21-0840. An ordinance by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor and designee to execute amendment number 7 for FC 5597 citywide elevator and escalator services with Heights and Creek Elevator Corporation on behalf of the Department of Enterprise Asset Management, Atlanta Police Department, Department of Aviation, Department of Corrections, Department of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, and Department of Watershed Management to extend the term of the agreement on a month-to-month basis for a period of up to 7 months, beginning November 1, 2021 through May 31, 2022, in accordance with Section 2-1163, subsection C of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, in an amount not to exceed $237,483.58. All contracted work to be charged to and paid from funding numbers listed herein and for other purposes. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Shepherd?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens? The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
If we have, this has been going on a month-to-month basis for a while, is Chris Davis on the line or somebody from procurement that can just tell us if there's a plan to get this out for bid? Because it looks like we've been doing month-to-month for about 2 years or extensions.
Greetings and good afternoon, Chairperson Tonight. Can you hear me?
I can.
Greetings to you. Yes, in fact, by chance, today was the site visit on this one. So we did produce RFP S1220031. It's an active solicitation for this service, and we by chance had a site visit this morning, and proposals are due, I believe, on Thursday, November 18th, Chairperson.
Okay, great. Thank you for the update.
No problem. Have a great day.
You too. All right, item number 9 is 21. Did somebody else have a question? All right, item number 9 is 21-0841, an ordinance by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the CFO as a designee to amend the fiscal year 2022 General Government Capital Outlay Fund budget on behalf of the Atlanta Department of Transportation by transferring between projects the sum of $2,333,495.00 in transportation impact fees for use under FC 9661 Transportation Infrastructure Construction Services, large with A Astra Group Inc., B Brassfield and Gorey LLC, C CW Matthews Contracting Company Inc., D ER Snell Contractor Inc., and E Pittman Construction Company and FC 9662 Transportation Infrastructure Construction Services, small with A Astra Group Inc., B Brassfield and Gorey LLC, C CW Matthews Contracting Company, D ER Snell Contractor Inc., E Pittman Construction Company, F Precision 2000 Inc., and G Stewart Brothers Inc. for the purpose of modernizing traffic signals communication corridors, complete streets, and intersection improvement projects to increase roadway system capacity and for other purposes. We do have a substitute in the packet that, let me see if it changes the amount. 233. It does not change the amount. Ms. Kempson, right? What is the nature of this substitute?
This substitute updates the contractor names and supplements in the whereas clauses.
Second. Okay. Motion by Ide, second by Shook to bring forward the substitute.
Councilmember Archibald? Yes. Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Shepherd?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
In favor.
Madam Chair, the substitute is before the committee.
All right. I make a motion to approve on substitute.
Second.
Councilmember Archibald? Yes. Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Shepherd? Yes. Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
Madam Chair, this is favorable on substitute with 5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. Thank you. Item number 10 is 21-00842, an ordinance by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor who designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to execute all appropriate documents that would grant a utility easement of 750 square feet across the real property known as 2041 Delano Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30317, land lots 205 and 206 of District 15 of Fulton County, Georgia, also known as the Bessie Branham Park, to Georgia Power Company for the purposes of installing underground power distribution facilities in an amount not to exceed $23,000.00, waiving real estate and procurement code. Article 10, subsection 3, section 2-157, 1571 and 2-1572 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, and for other purposes. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald? Yes. Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Shepherd?
Yes.
Yes.
This item is 5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. Next item is 11-21-00850, an ordinance by Councilmember Howard Shook to authorize the carryover of December 2021 excess leave accumulation for City of Atlanta personnel for up to 20 days through and including December 31st, 2022, and for other purposes.
Move approval.
All right. I'll second that. Let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald? Yes. Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Shepherd?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
This item is favorable, 5 yeas, 0 nays.
Great. Let's see. We have done the next one. So that takes us to 13, which is 21-00853, an ordinance by Councilmember Carlos Smith amending the fiscal year 2022 general fund budget by transferring to and from appropriations the amount of $100,000.00 to provide funding that will contribute to the security and other services and facilities to be provided to the mayor-elect during the mayoral transition, and security services to be provided to the outgoing mayor and the ceremony of the inauguration of newly elected city officials in accordance with Ordinance 21-0-0703 and for other purposes. I will make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald? Yes. Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Westmoreland.
Yes.
Shepherd? Yes, Councilmember Shepherd.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
This item is favorable, 5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Chair.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I think Mr. Hillis, I believe, has a paper, and he's asking if we can jump to it. Does Ms. Simpson Wright or Mr. Westmoreland, do you know what item that is?
It's item number 59.
Okay.
210746.
Okay, let me scroll
Westmoreland.
down there. Hold on one second. 59. 59 is 210746, an ordinance by council members Dustin R. Hillis, Andrea L. Boone, Marcy Collier Overstreet, J.P. Matsakite, Cleta Winslow, Howard Shook, Michael Julian Bond, Madeline M. Archibald, Carla Smith, and Amir R. Faroki, authorizing the city to undertake the procedures necessary to create an option to exchange real property owned by the City of Atlanta for certain real property owned by Brock Built LLC in order to facilitate the environmental remediation and redevelopment of the former Gun Club Park and facilitate the provision of additional affordable for-sale housing and green space under the conditions set forth herein, upon the city's acceptance of the option by approval of a resolution and for other purposes. And this has been held here for 3 or 4 cycles, I believe, for review by the law department. Mr. Westmoreland, did you have a motion?
I will defer to Mr. Hillis. I believe he's on the line, and know that he wanted us to discuss this.
Okay.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. So just briefly, this paper, as was announced as a number of co-sponsors, this is a land swap request by the council to get both sides talking. That's all it does. It does contain some suggestions as to, the percentage of affordable housing, which would be 20%, and 80% AMI, and also this will be an eyes on the park development, so to speak, and would develop into a roughly 9-acre park. There's quite a bit of contamination on this site, even when it was a city park back up until 1996, due to it serving as a skeet shooting range for a number of years. So there is a potential lead contamination in the soil. Brock would, of course, clean that up. And in exchange, about 2 years or so ago, there was a proposal in the historic Collier Heights neighborhood down in Councilmember Boone's district in NQI that the neighborhood rejected. So instead, that land would go towards park space in Collier Heights and the adjacent Center Hill neighborhood that has a very small or quite frankly absent parkland in this area. And again, this just gets both sides talking. Anything that is discussed and up for approval would have to come back to the council, a final version of this, and that is made clear in Section 11 that reads, neither the city nor Brock shall have any obligation to the other until the option agreement is fully executed and the resolution authorizing the closing of the transaction to exercise the option is adopted by the council and approved by the mayor. So with that said, I would ask for approval of this ordinance. Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion?
I'll move approval.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
That was Shepard? Okay. I'm going to, just because I know this has been held for review by the law department, is there somebody from the law department to just address whether the review that you were doing is complete and you're comfortable moving this forward?
Hi, good afternoon, Chair. This is Amber Robinson from the Law Department. So the city's review has been done, and ultimately, the Law Department's review has been done, and ultimately the Law Department's recommendation was that there be an amendment to add a section or to amend Section 11 such that it clarifies that no provision of this legislation will be binding on the city, such that, to Council Member Hillis's point, it will be clear that it would be necessary to effectuate the actions herein to come back to Council, that this is more of a guideline, a set of guidelines for this action rather than an obligation that these particular actions occur without further approval.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Robinson. But do we have an amendment prepared on that?
We do. It was submitted upon the last consideration of this or discussion of this ordinance by the committee on October 13th, but I can resubmit that to Ms. Kenson Wright and this committee at this time.
Yes. Ms. Shepard.
No, it's Archibong.
Archibong, I'm sorry.
No, okay. So if Monday the decision was made by the author, chief sponsor, to pull it from held, could we consider it then? Has it been held enough? Was it 2 cycles? Where are we with that?
It has been held since September. Let's see. It was held September 29th with us, so I believe so. Wasn't that right, Ms. Kempson, right?
Yes, it was favorable by CCSS on September 28th, and it was held at the request of Councilmember Hillis for the Law Department to review on September 29th.
Okay. So if we held it, kept it in held, and then Monday pulled it from held, will give time for the whatever the amendments that is being. I think Amber is saying there was an amendment or whatever back and forth between Councilmember Hillis, Councilmembers Boone and Hillis. We could then pull it from held on Monday and then have the benefit of that substitute or amendment being before us. Is that a path we could take?
I think so. Where are we right now? We have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Okay. So
I could make a. So, Ms. Robinson, do you have the amendment?
Good afternoon, Councilmember Archibong. Yes, I do. I've emailed it to Ms. Kenson Wright. I can read it. It's to amend Section 11 such that it shall state no provision of this ordinance herein shall be binding on the city, but rather shall be considered a request of the executive branch of the city.
Okay, so that's the entirety of the amendment?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was more complex than that. All right. No. Thank you. That's all I have. I have a question.
Yes.
So, Mr. Hillis, are we all on the same page on where we're going with this amendment? I'm open to it.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Shepherd. So, I mean, my opinion and other attorneys' opinions are that it's basically the same thing. I mean, as I stated clearly, Section 11 already states neither the city nor Brock shall have any obligation to the other until the agreement comes forth. So, I mean, it's saying the same thing with different words, in my opinion. So, I believe that is already stated in Section 11. So, I don't feel that amendment is needed for that purpose.
But it's not, if we do it, that it's not hurting anything. Is that right, Mr. Hillis? I mean, we could get into.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to the committee. If they want the amendment to say that, makes y'all feel better, that's fine. But my opinion and others' opinions are, those are basically saying the same thing. So I don't.
So if we have the amendment, can we go ahead and amend it now?
Yeah, I would make that motion, or I'd second that motion if you would make it.
Yeah, I want to make an amendment. Make an amendment to add in the amendment from the law department. And you second it, and so we can move on. I've got to go, but I want to finish this.
Then let's do that. Let's motion by Shepherd, second by Ide on the amendment that Ms. Robinson read in.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Schiff?
Aye.
Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
The amendment is before you.
All right.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second. Westmoreland.
All right. Let's open the vote.
Councilmember Ide?
Yes.
Councilmember Schiff?
Aye.
Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
This item is favorable as amended.
Great. Mr. Hillis, did you have anything else on the agenda?
Just to say thank you, colleagues, and thank you, Chairwoman Ide.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hillis. Let's see where.
Bye. I'm leaving. Goodbye. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Shepherd. Good luck with your dental situation. So, Ms. Kempson, right, where are we at 13, or did we do that one?
We are now at item 14.
14, okay. So 14, we're going to do 14, 15, and 23 together. 14 is 21-0856, an ordinance by Councilmember Amir Faroki authorizing a donation amount not to exceed $40,000.00 from the Council District 2 carry-forward account to the Martin Luther King Senior Community Resources Collaborative to assist with Guaranteed Income Initiative recommendations received from the Old Fourth Ward Economic Security Task Force and for other purposes. 15 is 21-0857, an ordinance by Councilmember J.G. Mezekite authorizing a donation amount not to exceed $5,000.00 from the Council District 8 carry-forward account to Park Pride on behalf of the Friends of Tanyard Creek Park to support their playground improvement projects and for other purposes. 23 is 21-0871, an ordinance by Councilmember. Oh, you know what? Nope, that's the wrong one. 21-0872, an ordinance by Councilmember Marcy Collier Overstreet authorizing a donation amount not to exceed $15,000.00 to the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, Atlanta branch from the District 11 carry-forward account to support their COVID-19 vax concert and for other purposes. And number 24 we already did. Okay, so that is 14, 15, 23. I will make a motion to approve those three items.
Second.
Let's open the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens? The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. These 3 items are favorable.
Okay, thank you. So, let's see, that's 14, and we did 15. 16 is 21-0-0860, an ordinance by Councilmember Howard Shook to authorize the mayor on behalf of the city to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Brookhaven, Georgia, consenting to the allocation of building permitting services to be provided to the property located at 2836 Shady Valley Drive, which is located both in the city of Brookhaven and the city of Atlanta, which will traverse boundaries and for other purposes. Motion to approve.
Second.
Let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
The item is favorable. 4 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Ms. Kempson-Wright, can I do 17 and 19 together? Hold both of those?
Yes, we can.
Okay. 17 is 21-0-0864, an ordinance by Councilor J.P. Maxicate authorizing donation amount not to exceed blank $0.00 from the Council District 8 carry forward account to Park Pride on behalf of the below listed organizations to support their efforts with parks and playground improvement projects and for other purposes. And then 19 is 21-0-0866, an ordinance by Councilor J.P. Maxicate authorizing a donation amount not to exceed blank $1,000.00 from the Council District 8 carry forward account to the Friends of Bitsy Grant Tennis Center to support their playground improvement projects and for other purposes. And Mr. Maxicate has asked us to hold them this cycle. So I'll make a motion to hold 17 and 19.
Second.
All right, let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
4 yeas, 0 nays. These items are held.
All right, number 18 is 21-0-0865, an ordinance by council members Michael Julian Bond and Andrea L. Boone to recognize Columbus Day as Indigenous Peoples Day in the city of Atlanta and pay tribute to the important contributions of Native American people and acknowledge and celebrate their rich and diverse cultures, traditions, and histories and for other purposes. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second, Archibald.
Let's vote.
Councilmember Shook?
Sorry, Dickens is back.
Sorry, aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Dickens?
Dickens, yay.
And Councilmember Westmoreland?
In favor.
5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Great. All right. We did 19. Let's do 20. And we're going to amend it, and then we'll do it. Let's see, 20, 21, and 22 all have amendments, I believe, to fill in the amount on 20 and the amount on 21 and the account string on 22, I believe. So those should be in the packet. Let me read them each in, and then we'll amend them. 21-0-0867. This is item 20, an ordinance by Councilor J.P. Maxicate authorizing a donation an amount not to exceed blank $0.00 from the Council District 8 carry forward account to the Atlanta Memorial Park Conservancy to support their park improvement projects and for other purposes. 21 is 21-0-0869, an ordinance by Councilmember J.P. Maxicate authorizing a donation not to exceed blank $0.00 from the Council District 8 carry forward account to Chastain Park Conservancy to support their park improvements projects and for other purposes. And 22 is 21-0-0871, an ordinance by Councilmember Jennifer Knight authorizing the CFO to amend the general fund budget to transfer $35,000.00 from the District 6 carry forward account to the 2015 Municipal Facilities Bond Fund to assist with renovations at Fire Station 19 of Virginia Highland and for other purposes. So if you go to our packet, let's see.
So, Ms. Kempson Wright, what is the amount that gets filled in for 20?
For item number 20, the donation is now $10,000.
Okay, and that's for the Memorial Park, and then what goes to Chastain Park in item 22? I mean, item 21.
Item 21, the amount is $30,000.
Okay, and then in item 22, it was updating the account. So I'll make a motion to amend 20, 21, and 22.
Second.
All right, let's vote on those three amendments.
For Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
The amendments are before you.
All right, I'll make a motion to adopt those three items as amended.
Second.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. These items are favorable as amended.
Thank you. Item number 23 is 21-00872, an ordinance by Councilman Marcy Collier Overstreet authorizing a donation amount not to exceed $15,000.00 to the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, Atlanta Branch, from the District 11 Care Board account to support their COVID-19 vax concert and for other purposes. Did I not read that one already, or is it just a very similar sounding one?
We took that with the previous.
Okay. All right. We're
item
yep. 25?
Yes.
Is where we are. This is my paper. I'm actually going to ask that we hold this because I think I have a different funding source. But 21-00875, an ordinance by Councilman Jennifer and I authorizing the transfer of $62,000.00 from the District 6 Carry Forward account to the Atlanta Department of Transportation for the installation of 2 traffic refuges on East Morningside Drive and for other purposes. So I'm going to hold in the cycle. Second. All right. That sounded like Archibald. All right, let's vote.
Councilmember Schiff?
Aye.
Councilmember Dickens?
Yay.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is held.
All right. That brings us to Section J, our resolutions. Item number 26, 21R, 4161. A resolution by Councilmember Carla Smith authorizing the mayor, her designee, to exercise amendment number 1 of contract number FC10008, improved city services with ATL 311, mobile application with 3DI Inc. on behalf of the Department of Customer Service, ATL 311, an amount not to exceed $37,100.00. All contracts of work to be charged to and paid from the funding numbers listed herein and for other purposes. I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dick?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Thank you. The next item is item number 27 is 21R 4162. We have a substitute on that I believe fills in the caption. So let me find the substitute. We also are going to have a presentation. Let's do the presentation, and then we will. Well, hold on. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll read the new caption in. Okay. This is a resolution by Councilmember Amir Faroqi, as substituted by Finance Executive Committee, authorizing the City of Atlanta to donate $2 million and 0 cents to Urban League of Greater Atlanta, Inc., recipient to assist in support of Recipients program, establishing and implementing a guaranteed income pilot program for certain eligible individuals residing in the City of Atlanta pursuant to Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta Charter, authorizing the mayor, her designee, and or the CFO to execute any documents or donation agreements necessary to effectuate this donation, authorizing the CFO's office, the Chief Financial Officer, to charge to and pay the donation authorized hereby from the account numbers listed herein and for other purposes. So I'll make a motion to bring forward the substitute.
Are we going to get a presentation?
We are. I just thought this fills in who the recipient is that's going to manage the funds, so I thought I'd bring forward the substitute, and then we'd have that before us, and we'll have the presentation.
Okay, I'm a nay. Thank you.
All right.
Second. What's wrong?
Okay. Let's vote on bringing forward the substitute, and then we will hear the presentation.
Councilmember Archibald? Yes. Councilmember Dickens?
Yes.
And Mr. Schick, we recorded your vote. The substitute is before you.
All right. Let's hear should we, Ms. Kempson-Wright, should we read in 28 also? These companion pieces?
They are companion. They do have two separate presentations. So if you would like to also bring that one forward as well.
Let's do that, and then we can just hear both presentations at the same time. So 28 is 21R, 4163. Again, there is a substitute that changes the caption. So let me get down and read the substitute caption. Is a resolution by Councilmember Andre Dickens as substituted by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the City of Atlanta to donate $2 million and 0 cents to Operation Hope of Greater Atlanta, Inc., recipient to assist in support of Recipients program, establishing and implementing child savings accounts for certain eligible children residing in the City of Atlanta pursuant to Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta Charter, authorizing the mayor or designee to execute any documents or donation agreements necessary to effectuate this donation, authorizing the CFO to charge to and pay the donation, authorizing hereby from the account numbers listed here and for other purposes. So I'll make a motion to bring forward that substitute.
Second.
All right, let's vote on bringing forward the substitute.
Councilmember Archibald? Yes. Councilmember Dickens?
Dickens, yay.
Councilmember Westmore?
Yes.
The substitute is before you for both items.
All right, thank you. Let's turn it over to, I believe this is the Chief Equity Officer. He's going to give us a presentation on 27 and 28.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Good afternoon, council members. This is Kadira Abdurrahim, the Chief Equity Officer. Thank you for this opportunity to share more information about the Mayors for Guaranteed Income Program and the Children's Savings Account. A theme I will reiterate today during both presentations is that these two programs offer an opportunity to help residents recover. Moving to slide 2, the Mayors for Guaranteed Income Program currently exists in about 55 different cities and is essentially a cash payment program for vulnerable residents to help them with their urgent needs. The city's pilot is conducted in partnership with the Mayors for Guaranteed Income Program, which is a national nonprofit organization of more than 50 American mayors working across the country to advance guaranteed income programs at the local, state, and federal level. MGI, the nonprofit, provides a number of their member cities with technical assistance and, in some cases, seed grants. Going to slide 3 of the presentation. If approved, the Urban League of Greater Atlanta will administer the program by receiving a $2 million donation. Slide 4 represents the specifics of the City of Atlanta program, which will include 300 City of Atlanta residents being eligible to receive a $500 monthly stipend over 12 months. To qualify for the program, residents must live at or below 200% of the poverty level. And our project is a pilot and will not only help our residents recover, but it will also provide evidence to potentially inform future policy making for our city. Moving to slide 5, the program is an evidence-based program that has been proven to improve mental health and emotional health in other participants in other cities. It has also been proven to improve people's ability to pay for unexpected expenses. And it seems like, or not it seems like, the data tells us that the majority of participants are spending the largest amount of funding on food and utilities. Slide 6 describes some of our partners, which include Urban League of Greater Atlanta, UPenn, and Steady App, which would disperse the monthly payment to residents. The program that I described today can support City of Atlanta in the future with understanding how we implement strategies to combat poverty in our city. Do you want me to go into the CSA presentation or answer any questions related to the Mayor's Guaranteed Income Program at this time?
Let's see if anybody has questions about this one, and then we can move on to the next one. So, colleagues, if anybody has questions, just feel free to speak up.
Shook.
Mr. Shook.
Yeah. So are there any requirements or restrictions about the acceptance of these monies?
To residents?
Yes.
A $500 monthly stipend. Yes, so residents must live at or below 200% of the poverty line and be 18 years of age or older. Those are the requirements. And then the participants, once we verify this information, they will be the recipients who receive the actual stipend will be randomized into a treatment group for this particular project.
Okay, and you think that's 300 people?
It's approximately 300 people, yes.
Okay, well, what are your parameters for deciding 310 versus 290? Who decides the winners and losers?
So this is a research program. It's an actual randomized controlled trial. So we will open up an enrollment process for a week-long period. Those residents that meet the qualification criteria, age 18 or older, 200, living at or below 200% of the poverty line, will be randomized, meaning that 300 specifically will be randomized to a treatment group, and the remaining will be randomized to a control group. So the research itself helps determine who gets the money and who does not get the money, which is our way to attempt at being fair in terms of selecting the participants.
Okay, but that's in terms of who gets it. Who or what entity administers or controls the who gets what, and what do we know afterwards process?
Yes. So on slide 6, it highlights our partners. And on bullet number 3, APT Associates is identified as a partner. This is the research firm that actually goes through the randomization process, implements the randomization process. So it is APT and Associates who identifies who receives the funding, meaning who is assigned to the treatment group and who is assigned to the control group.
Are they under contract?
They are not under contract with the city. So we are donating these funds to the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, and there is not a contract. Urban League of Greater Atlanta will be under contract with the Mayor for Guaranteed Income Program, and the Mayor for Guaranteed Income Program is under contract with APT and Associates. So this falls under the Mayor for Guaranteed Income Program. It falls under their technical assistance support.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, should I transition to the Child Savings Account program?
Yes, I'm sorry. I had myself on mute. I was just talking away. All right, colleagues, any other questions on the Guaranteed Income Pilot Program? All right, let's move on to the Child Savings Account then.
Okay, thank you. So as many of our children fight to overcome the academic setbacks due to the pandemic, I think that this is a program that will demonstrate to our children for years to come that we really think that they are important and believe they can reach their highest educational potential. If we go to slide 2, I want to provide a little bit of information about the children's or the Child Savings Account program in general. They are long-term savings accounts or investment accounts designed to help children build savings for the future. Most CSA programs have 3 different characteristics. So students receive one-time seed deposits to initiate savings. The savings cannot be withdrawn unless for extreme emergencies, and they are intended only to purchase education-oriented assets. And then the program encourages financial milestones or educational achievement through incentives. With our City of Atlanta program, we are targeting City of Atlanta kindergarten students that attend Title I schools or live in the city and can prove low-income status. We anticipate servicing close to 7,500 students across 45 different schools. The students will receive a $50 deposit towards a savings account and incentives to participate in complementary programming. Students can make deposits from K through the 12th grade and can access the account through their adulthood as long as they are using the funds for college or career expenses. Our nonprofit partner will finalize the details of the account withdrawal policy. We know that the impact of the Child Savings Account program is far-reaching. Both research and Child Savings Account programs all over the country have demonstrated the benefits of the program. I believe each of you should have a letter of support in your packets today from Prosperity Now, an organization leading Child Savings Account programs across the nation. And according to this organization, Child Savings Account programs can accomplish a number of outcomes, including increasing college expectations and aspirations, improving college attendance and completion, reducing student loan debt, and increasing family financial capability. And so when we look at increasing college expectations and aspirations, we know that in order for children to climb out of poverty, they have to improve their educational opportunities. So this program has been designed to do that. And so if we move to slide 3 of the presentation, if the resolution is approved, the city would donate $2 million to Operation Hope, a nationally renowned nonprofit organization focused on building the educational knowledge of families. Atlanta Public Schools is also considered a major partner of the program. As I end and answer any questions that you might have, thank you again for considering both programs. These programs are about investing in our children and residents' future and really promoting a culture of saving so our children can overcome statistics like Atlanta being one of the hardest places for children to climb out of poverty. So thanks so much for considering the programs.
All right, colleagues, do people have questions on the child savings account legislation?
This is Wes Warren. I've got one, maybe a couple. Is that all right?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for both presentations. I am really excited about both of these pilots and learning from them and seeing how they can be revised or expanded. On the guaranteed income pilot, it's pretty clear when you multiply $500 in monthly guaranteed income for the 12-month pilot by the 300 participants, you get pretty close to the $2 million that we're allocating. Can you talk a little bit more about the $2 million that's going to Project Operation Hope? Because if you take 7,500 kindergartners and you stick a $50 deposit in a savings account, that's $375,000.
So based on the budget I have that about $525,000 goes to children and families. About $147,795 are related to administrative fees, and the remaining amount of that budget supports personnel and program supplies.
All right, say those three one more time. Like half $500,000 is going to actual savings
$500,000 actually going to savings accounts. About $147,795 are going towards administrative fees, and then the remaining amount supports personnel and program supplies. And so I think from a math perspective, getting down to the specifics, there is an amount allocated in the budget that specifically supports those incentives. So a component of this program is not only the savings account, but also incentives related to programming that will further educate children and families around improving their financial acumen. And if they participate in those programs, then they receive cash-based incentives to improve their savings account. So that's also factored into the budget.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit more? I think roughly that's like $1.3.5 million. Kind of what will those dollars be covering?
Again, so you want specifics because the admin expense is around $147,795.
Yep.
You probably have close. Is that enough? You probably have close to about $700,000 in personnel expenses. So we are targeting 7,500 kids, and that's going to take a robust staff to conduct outreach as well as support improving the financial acumen of those children and families. So you have about $700,000 in personnel expenses, and then the remaining amount is in program supplies. And if you want the specifics on program supplies, I can cover those items if you'd like.
Yeah, if you don't mind, go for it.
Not at all. So when we look at program supplies, you have factored into the equation a small percentage for travel You have a percentage for research and evaluation. One of the things that our office is definitely focused on is how do we create evidence-based work that helps inform City of Atlanta policy. So you have funding in there for research and evaluation. You have funding in there because we do have to come back and report outcomes to this body. And then we also have in there communications and marketing and food for outreach events. I think the thing to note here is that this is not the City of Atlanta budget. This is Operation, this is the program administrator, Operation Hope, that has given us potentially a budget and to support this project. And what I'm reading off are the numbers that they have proposed.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
It is helpful. Could you send all of that our way so we can take a look at it between now and full council on Monday? What's the timeline? So we're gonna create the savings accounts and deposit the $50 into each of them, and then so that's like $600,000 is being spent on admin and actually putting money in bank accounts. $1.3 million is being spent on other stuff that you just outlined. Like, what is the timeline? How are we going to be engaging those 7,500 families, and for how long are we going to be engaging those 7,500 families with the $1.3 million we're spending?
So this is a program that, children will have the opportunity to grow from K through 12th grade. Our implementation plan with full council approval, hopefully, we will have identified the students for this particular project, or the first cohort of students for this particular project, by the end of the year, specifically by mid-December.
Right, and then for how long will we be providing kind of financial literacy programming to their families with the $1.3+ million?
Over the course of K through 12. That's our goal.
Okay, and Operation Hope is making a 13-year commitment to us?
Well, right now they're making a 2-year commitment to us, and the goal is to build and expand the program over time.
Gotcha. All right, I think that's all my questions for now. I'm clear on the guaranteed income piece. If you could send whatever additional information you have about the child savings accounts to at least me. I don't know if anybody else on the committee is interested, but if you could email that our way beyond the PowerPoint presentation, that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
Any colleagues, anybody else have questions? Well, I want to be clear. This is Archibong. I would like to see that information that Mr. Westmoreland has requested. Frankly, I think the whole committee should see it. Yeah, I'm about in the same place as Mr. Westmoreland, that I have a comfort level on the first paper, and I'm having a little angst on the programmatic cost, the overhead cost of the second paper. So
I'm happy to review the. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be ready for a final vote on that second one yet, and I'm sort of debating whether we keep that one here a cycle or if we get information between now and Monday. But it just feels like a lot of the money is being used to run the program, which I understand they're expensive on that, but it seems like we're spending as much running the program as we are seeding the savings accounts.
I have a question.
Yeah, Mr. Dickens, I was going to ask for your thoughts, Madam Chair.
Yeah, so I think everybody is
well, I don't know about everybody, but a lot of folks are in support of the measures as it relates to these child savings accounts and the guaranteed basic income as pilot. And the challenge is, so the policy on this space is about allocation of the resources, the dollar amount, and then, but the questions that you guys are asking are about the administrative details. And so there may be a schedule or something that could change so that you're voting on the overall, but have room to make changes, or, because I would assume that we need to put some of this on a schedule or in an appendix, attached to it, just in case there's times that something has to change. Because one day we could increase the amount, and this policy is dedicated a certain amount. But if as is being stated, it seems to be high on the more expenses in non-direct contributions to the savings accounts. Maybe those could be adjusted over time. I don't know if so I'm asking a procedural question first. Is this on its face a policy that's purely about the $2 million, and that the administrative parts could move around later based on different administrations or different, coming back to council? That's a question for law.
Law, are you there?
Yes. Hi, good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Hi. Amber Robinson, Department of Law. Of course, as the legislation sets forth, there would be required that there be a donation agreement to accompany, following the approval of this donation, a donation agreement would be executed pursuant to the legislation as well. Within the donation agreement, the partner, the 501c3 partner whom we're working with on this program, will provide information concerning their administration, their anticipated administration of the project, as well as their administrative costs. However, because this is a donation rather than a contract for services, we, as from a legislative standpoint, is not permitted to, let's say, dictate the use of the donated funds in the legislation. And of course, this is a donation, as it's required to be in accordance with the gratuity clause of the Georgia Constitution.
Okay, so this is a donation. I'd like to hear back from the administration on this, to be able to understand. Mr. Westmoreland laid out some comments that I think is shared by others, that the program on its face and the attempt is admirable and definitely what we want to do. But how do we get more out of it into the hands of the public, and the 2/3 or so going to be able to make it happen? Just kind of give some more explanation on that. Is Ms. Kadir Abdul-Robin still on here?
Yes, Councilmember Dickens, thank you. And one of our deputy chiefs of staff, Philip Gilman, has been working with me very closely on this particular project, so I'll open up the floor to Philip.
Can we make sure we can hear you?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey. All right. Thank you, council members. This is Philip Gilman. I am a Deputy Chief of Staff in the Mayor's office. Certainly understand, and if you all are all right with it, want to take a minute just to talk through some of the budget logic and how it ties to the program. So Councilmember Westmoreland certainly understands the concerns and Councilmember Dickens wanting to make sure that as much funds as possible get into the hands of students. Something I think is important to stress about these child savings accounts programs is that whether or not you're looking at putting about $50 or $100 or $200 into these accounts, which certainly every little bit helps. The largest structure of these programs is helping to train youth towards long-term savings and financial literacy. And so we are happy to share the budget. And I'm happy to get on a call with anyone to go line by line. But if it's helpful, I think we can start to divide out some of the major categories. So as we've already covered, there's roughly $500,000, a little bit north of that, which is about 25% of the donation going into direct support, and then 10% into overhead, which is typical. But then there are 3 full-time financial literacy staff budgeted by Operation Hope, and that's very intentional for a program of this nature. So there's an initial funding of $50 per student, but then the program is structured to incentivize families to pursue additional financial literacy and to provide that kind of support for hundreds, if not thousands of students. It does require multiple full-time financial literacy professionals. And so 25% of the budget is dedicated to providing that financial literacy, which is a direct support and a very intentional part of the program that we think brings benefit in addition to just adding another $50 to a savings account. And actually the way the incentive structure is built is that by taking advantage of that financial literacy, those households would then get an incentive support on top of that. So the logic is you get $50, you participate in financial literacy, and then get an additional incentive payment. So starting to kind of put that math together, you've got 25% direct support, a little bit north of that, 25% intentional financial literacy full-time staff, 10% overhead, which for those doing the math, that leaves about 40% of the budget after the 2-year MOU period. Part of the appeal of Operation Hope is the strength of their fundraising ability long-term, because as Kadira mentioned, it is our intent to support this program and make sure that it can support students K through 12 through the long term. And so actually about 20% of the program, about $350,000 to $400,000, is being reserved to carry into year 3 to continue to support the same program. So the program's fully supported the first 2 years, and then the $350,000, $400,000 is the building block for the fundraising to move forward into year 3. So the concerns about the bulk of the funding of the $2 million donation going to back end or support, really what we're talking about when you look at 25% direct, 25% financial literacy, 10% overhead, and then carrying $350,000 to $400,000, which is another close to 17.5% to 20%. You're really looking at that last 15-20% as far as program administration, full-time staff, because of course a program like this will need a program administrator, some staff accounting, data analysis, etc. Happy to walk through those individually or go into more detail of some of those larger pieces of that pie, but didn't want it to be lost that the majority of the funding, both through financial literacy programming and direct payments, is going directly to benefit the students.
Thank you. Thank you for that explanation. Oh, well, actually, that was quite helpful. And so I will, that kind of solved the problem that I thought I heard. So that concludes my time, Chairwoman Ide, and I'll yield it back to you if any other council members have questions, but that satisfied my concern.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Dickens. let me. I think Mr. Westmoreland had another question, and then I'll ask my questions or state my concerns. Mr. Westmoreland.
Yep. I know I'm jumping around a little bit all over the place with the savings accounts. What conversations, if any, have we had with Operation Hope or other partners about engaging with either a Black-owned bank or a women-owned banks or minority-owned banks so that the city can have that be a part of this conversation as well? Has that happened at all, or have we not gotten that far?
So I'm happy to respond here if you can hear me, council member.
Yeah.
So the teams have been actually working for months and well over a year, engaging with banks throughout the country with expertise in this space. And so while we have not identified and finalized the financial institution that Operation Hope will be working with, it is worth noting that there are some large national organizations that bring a few things that could be very beneficial to the program, such as having implemented this in countries throughout the cities throughout the country, as well as having a lot of materials and startup programming. So we have been having conversations both with Black-owned banks and with national institutions, regional institutions that have experience implementing this and are certainly working with Operation Hope to weigh the pros and cons. We know that that's a high value, and we're certainly pushing in those spaces.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Westmoreland. Anybody else have questions? I still just have, I appreciate this additional information. I still feel like it's a lot for me to digest today. I am certainly in favor of both programs, but I want to make sure I really understand and am okay with how they're going to operate. I appreciated Mr. Strick's questions on how the recipients of the guaranteed income would be selected. I'm not sure. I understand that there's going to be, a control group and a program group. I'm not sure I completely understand how we're getting that pool to begin with. So if we could cover that again, is there an application process? And I understand it's not the city doing it, that it's our partner, but a little bit more how people put themselves in the running for the money. And then on the sort of the same with the child savings account, it looks to me like it is a criteria for being considered is that you go to a Title I school. I have two little bits of concern about that, is that doesn't capture every low-income child in the city. There are schools that hover right around eligibility or not eligibility, or schools that, aren't close to eligibility but certainly have a population of children who are in the same financial situation as kids in Title I schools. So that sort of raised a little bit of a concern with me. Are there eligible children we would like to be helping that we're cutting out of the eligibility criteria by saying that the entire school needs to be a Title I school? So if you all have any thoughts on that, I'd appreciate it.
Chairwoman, I'm happy. I'm happy to respond here. So again, Philip Gilman, Deputy Chief of Staff in the Mayor's Office. So as far as selection goes, the intent, as Kadira mentioned, for the Guaranteed Income Program is to open up an application through our partner online for 1 week. And so anyone eligible would be able to apply for that program within the city of Atlanta. And it's worth noting that Apton Associates is a nationally and globally recognized research firm. They have thousands of staff globally, and so they they fully have the capacity to take what and clean the data of what comes in application-wise, and then they will provide the randomized list of treatment and control individuals. They actually will fully manage the control group, and then Urban League for Greater Atlanta will confirm all of the requirements and then provide support for the families as they're registered into the program. And so it will be open and available. We certainly are well aware of technology constraints that some families and households will have, and so we are actually working directly with Urban League to make sure that staff are trained according to national standards through MGI to be able to support those with barriers to online applications. On the child savings account side, it's a great question, and one that we've been working through and wrestling with for weeks and months. And so we have felt strongly that a program that automatically enrolls youth in Title I schools is going to be an effective way to serve as many students as possible, but we didn't want to do that at the expense of other qualifying youth. And so while Title I school automatic enrollment will be the foundation of the program, we will be working with Operation Hope to create what would be an opt-in alternative for students within the footprint of the city of Atlanta who meet program requirements or income requirements to be considered similar or parallel to Title I requirements, so that families and households can participate in the program if they meet those requirements, even if they're not in Title I schools. So there really will be two roads into the program. The largest foundation, which lowers administrative overhead, is using Title I as a proxy, but there will be, as you mentioned, a road in for other students who meet the requirements.
All right, thank you. That's helpful. Let me ask you, so, because this is a little bit complicated, that we're not contracting with these organizations. We are making a donation. And so from a legal standpoint, I think law would say, a donation is a donation, and, we can't have a whole lot of control. I don't know. The law department can jump in. In fact, let me just ask the law department that question of doing this as a donation versus doing this if we went out and did and contracted with an organization to be a program manager. Sort of what's the difference there? Where do we stand on things with these as donations?
Thank you, Chair. So here on a donation, the recipient entity, through the donation agreement, will be able to set forth their intention on how the funds are to be used as part of the donation agreement. And that's reasonable, and they should spell all of that out. Of course, if what they were to propose were to not be in agreement with, if the city were not to be in agreement with that, then we would not be required to execute that agreement. However, unlike with a contract for services, we are not able to dictate how the entity who is the recipient of these funds is going to use the funds specifically. They can tell us how they plan to use the funds, and we can accept that or not. However, we are not permitted to specifically dictate how they use the funds, the specificity of the amount of overhead, the subcontractors or the contractors which the entity would utilize, or things like that. We're not going to be able to do that affirmatively on the front end.
Okay, that's helpful. And I think a little bit of my angst is that we're doing this as a donation, and we're doing it as a donation with entities that are doing this for the first time also. I may have missed this in the presentation. Has the National Urban League, have other affiliates of the National Urban League run these programs, so that there may be some experience and guidance at the national level for our local branch?
So, Councilmember, Chairwoman, we can certainly get you that information. Two things that I think are worth noting. One is for the Guaranteed Income Program, there is national technical assistance being provided by the Mayors for Guaranteed Income Program. And so the partners that Kadira provided are providing nationally experienced technical assistance to the Urban League, and that is part of their commitment to the program, and they have implemented similar programs nationwide. And on the child savings account side, as I mentioned to Council Member Westmoreland, is that some of the banking partners that we've identified have also similarly provided this nationwide, and we've been in contact with organizations such as Prosperity Now, who have built advocacy organizations and support organizations for child savings accounts programs. So we have been girding, if you will, these partners with every level of national support and technical assistance that we can find. One additional note that may be worth covering for those who remember right at the beginning of the pandemic, we had a similar structure of donation of $1.5 million with Georgia's own foundation and Georgia's own credit union, where we entered into an MOU to provide $1.5 million to support contractors for the city of Atlanta in their recovery from the pandemic. And that structure and model and close collaborative partnership was a very high level of success. We were able to expend actually the full $1.5 million in direct support through the partner. And so we believe this model has shown success. We're happy to share with the council members some recap of that similar example and how that worked well. And we think the memorandum of understanding, the work and close collaboration that our team is doing along with the national technical assistance from our partner organizations put both of these organizations in a strong position to be successful.
Yeah, that's helpful. I have less angst about the guaranteed income as far as that goes than the child savings, where I just have a little bit of a sense of, are we recreating the wheel on spending a big chunk of the money on financial education when there are probably people out there doing it, and I don't know that Operation Hope has a history of doing that. So, and again, I'm very supportive of these two programs. This is just a whole lot to get today for the first time and digest. I would be more inclined to have 2 weeks to get some other questions answered. I don't know where the rest of the committee is, but I just feel like these are great programs, but I want to make sure we do them right, and I just need to feel confident I understand everything before we authorize this much money. But anybody else have any questions, concerns, comments?
This is Councilmember Dickens. I did want to highlight one thing that was asked was about black banks, minority banks, and I know Operation Hope and Urban League are both minority led and operated, and Operation Hope has been from the start. And they actually look for opportunities with minority banks. So, I mean, we could probably double click on that and get more detail, but I know exactly what their model is. I haven't worked with them in the past to bring about financial literacy to people across the nation. Now they were just here, now they're everywhere. So I think that comfort level there is definitely there for me. And both have outstanding track records locally and nationally. So that, for me, is not on the table as an issue because I know what they do and how they operate. So I wanted to take time to communicate that. And I would ask, one way to go about this, gathering of more information is to go 2-week cycle, or another is to go on to Monday. And I don't know if I can ask if the administration feels like they would be able to prepare enough information for our comfort level by Monday so that I could make a motion to approve on condition, but I'd like to ask them to comment on that. Is anybody available to talk about providing additional proposed budget expenses on the child savings portion?
And Andre, can we not say that we get it on Monday, because that is always a crunch when we say by Monday and then it's an hour before the meeting.
Good point. Thank you. That is true. We don't want it 1 hour before the meeting. If we could have it well ahead of, so by 8 a.m. Monday or by Saturday would be better. So can the administration talk about that?
Councilmember Dickens, I if I can speak on behalf of the team, we have been, I would say, working on a daily basis, pushing all of these things you described forward. And so, appreciate all of your comments, and certainly I have every faith in the team that even considering the Veterans Day holiday in front of us, that we can beat that 8 a.m. Monday timeline. I think we could probably even get it before the end of the week, since we've already been working on these budgets. We have program details in place and a lot of this structure laid out, and so we would be more than happy to provide any and all information that would be helpful for the council to make a decision and support by Monday. So yes, I think we can get that within the week.
Okay, thanks. And so council members, that's something I don't know if there's a motion on the table already, but I would be motioning to approve on condition that we get the necessary items by before Monday. And so that's my motion when the time is right, Ms. Odd.
I may have been on hold. Is there a second? Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it, but I'm going to abstain from the vote itself. I would, at least on the savings account, I would prefer to talk about it for a couple more weeks, but I will second your motion.
This is Archibald. I have a question. Can we vote for them separately, right? We don't have to keep them together as we vote, or
yeah, we can pull them apart. Yeah. Why don't we do the savings, the guaranteed income one first, which was 21R 4162. I think I did that right. Yeah, that's the guaranteed income paper. So why don't we have Dickens make his motion just for that item first. So that is item number 27.
So 27 is the one that we're all okay with, or that doesn't need the...
27 is 21R 4162. It's the $2 million for guaranteed income pilot.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve 27.
I'll second that. Westmont.
All right. Any other comments, questions, discussions on 27? All right. Then let's vote.
Councilmember Ide?
Yes.
Councilmember Schiff?
Nay.
Councilmember Archibald? Yes. This item is favorable with 4 yeas and 1 nay on substitute.
Okay. Now let's go to 28, which is 21R 4163. That is the child savings account paper. Mr. Dickens, did you want to make a motion? Yeah.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve on condition of receiving additional information before Monday.
I'll second it. Mr. Archibald.
Okay, let's vote.
Councilmember Ide.
I'm going to abstain on that.
Councilmember Shook.
Abstain.
And Councilmember Westmoreland.
Same.
It was an abstention?
Yes, ma'am.
Tricky. This item moves forward on condition favorable with 2 yeas and 3 abstentions.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for your time with the presentations. And, I think the sooner that we could get additional information, the better, but appreciate all of your work on this.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yep, absolutely. We are going to move on to item number 29. 29 is 21R 4246, a resolution by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the CFO to refund $298,116.42 to Delta Materials Services, LLC for the purpose of reimbursing overpayment of the 2019 business license taxes and fees, all funds to be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, account number, secretariat, and for other purposes. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
This item is favorable, 5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, item number 30 is 21R 4247, a resolution by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor or designee to execute a change order for contract number SC4192, cargo expansion site preparations 2A and 2B with Matthews Kelly JV and Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport, amount not to exceed $45 million and 0 cents. All services will be charged to and paid from PTAEO, FDOAS as listed and for other purposes.
Move approval.
All right. I'll second that. Let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens?
Yay.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Okay, item number 31 is 21R 4248, a resolution by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor who does need to enter into renewal option number 3 to contract SC10169 voice permits IVR enhancement system upgrades with Electron Technologies Inc. on behalf of the Department of City Planning and the Department of Watershed Management for 1 year beginning December 18, 2021 through December 17, 2022, amount not to exceed $252,630.00 and for other purposes. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens?
Yay.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
In favor.
This item is favorable, 5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. Next item is, we just did 31, correct? I've lost my place.
32.
Okay. We're on 32, or I just did 32?
We're on 32 now.
Okay. That's what I thought. 21R 4249, a resolution by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor who does need to execute special procurement agreement SDS 1220110A, clean up and spill remediation inside buildings with American Property Restoration Inc. on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management, pursuant to Section 2-1191.1 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances for a term of 1 year, amount not to exceed $300,000.00. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund department, organization, and account numbers of subsidiary and for other purposes. Make a motion to approve. Let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland.
Yes.
This item is favorable, 5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. Item number 33 is 21R4250, a resolution by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor designate to execute special procurement agreement SPS 1220110C, cleanup and spill remediation inside building with Dura Cleanup LLC on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management pursuant to Section 2-1191.1 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances for a term of 1 year, an amount not to exceed $300,000. All contracted work will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account numbers of the TRAN and for other purposes. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens.
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland.
Yes.
This item is favorable, 5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. Item number 34 is 21R4251, a resolution by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor for designee to issue task order number FD 10641M80 for contract FD 10641M job order contracting services small with Rubio and Sons Interiors Inc. for restroom renovations at the William Walker Recreation Center on behalf of the Department of Enterprise Asset Management in amount not to exceed $186,403.35. All work to be charged to and paid from accounts of the and for other purposes. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald. Councilmember Dickens.
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland.
Yes.
This item is favorable, 4 yeas, 0 nays.
Did you get me? This is Archibald.
I have you now, 5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Kempson, right, on 35 and 36, are we holding both of those because we don't have that? We need the iPro report?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, I'm going to read both of those together then. 35 is 21R4252, a resolution by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the mayor who designate to execute an agreement for RFPS 1210214 Citywide Security Guard Services with Dynamic and Safeguard Security joint venture on behalf of the Department of Enterprise Asset Management, the Department of Parks and Rec, Municipal Court, Watershed Management for a term of 3 years with 2 1-year renewals, an amount not to exceed $916,755.88 for fiscal year 22, and an amount not to exceed $2,447,916.90 annually thereafter, subject to and expressly contingent upon approval and adoption of the budget for fiscal year 23 and 24. And then item 36 is 21R4253, a resolution by Finance Exec authorizing the mayor designee to execute an agreement for RFP S1210252 Citywide Janitorial Services with AFF Essential Joint Venture on behalf of Dean, APD, DHR, DPR, Watershed for a term of 3 years with 2 1-year renewal options in the amount not to exceed $1,059,956.00 for fiscal year 22, amount not to exceed $2,320,668 thereafter, subject to the budget. So I'll make a motion to hold 35 and 36 so that we can receive the iPro reports.
Second.
Councilmember Archibald. Yes. Councilmember Dickens.
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland.
Yes.
The vote is closed. 5 yeas, 0 nays. The item is closed.
Fantastic. All right, that takes us to iPro. That takes us to 37. 21R4254, resolution by Finance Exec authorizing the mayor who designee to execute amendment number 4 to XB10670 Heating and Air Conditioning Services with ARS Mechanical LLC on behalf of the Department of Enterprise Asset Management to add funding to the Department of Public Works Office of Fleet Services in an amount not to exceed $50,000.00. All contract work be charged to and paid from the fund, department organization account numbers listed here and for other purposes. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens.
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland.
Yes.
5 5 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
All right. I believe we did 38 at the beginning, which brings us to K, our dual referred items. We have several that came out of transportation. Item number 39 is 21-0846, an ordinance by Councilman Andre Dickens waiving the lease of city-owned real property requirements contained in Section 2-1547, Article 10, Procurement of Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances, as well as any other conflicting code provisions authorizing the mayor or designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into a lease agreement with Delta Airlines, Inc. for land area Track 1, Track 2, jet fuel storage tanks, piping, pumps, and various equipment located on or adjacent to the land area at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and for other purposes. This was favorable this morning. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Archibald. Councilmember Dickens.
Yay.
And Councilmember Westmoreland.
In favor.
The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item.
All right. I'm going to do 40 and 41 together. There are two other papers that came out of transportation. 40 is 21-0847, an ordinance by Councilmember Andre Dickens waiving the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances regarding the sale of city-owned real property requirements contained in Section 2-1547, Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code, authorizing the mayor or designee to sell 2 acres of property located in Paulding County, controlled by Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, to Paulding County and/or Paulding County Airport Authority, and for other purposes. And 41 is 21-0848. An ordinance by Councilmember Carlos Smith authorizing the mayor or designee to execute special procurement agreement SPS 1210097 Cloudflare Web Optimization and Security Services with Cloudflare Inc. for a term of 2 years retroactively effective from October 26, 2020 in an amount not to exceed $90,000.00 and to ratify services rendered in connection with this agreement from October 26, 2020 through execution of the agreement on behalf of the city, on behalf of the Department of Aviation in accordance with Section 2-1163, subsection C of Article 10, Procurement and Real Estate Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances. Authentic work to be charged to and paid from fund department organization account numbers is herein and for other purposes. Those are both favorable this morning in transportation. I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes, and I was bumped off the call, so I missed the last vote, but that's okay. But yes.
Okay. Councilmember Dickens.
Yay.
And Councilmember Westmoreland.
In favor.
5 yeas, 0 nays. These items are favorable. And we will make an update to each item, Councilmember Archibald.
Yeah, Councilmember Archibald, I think you missed 39, which was the lease agreement at the airport. So we'll put you down as, you're a yes to that one?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
So I believe we did 42 before Councilmember Shepherd left, but I think that there is an additional amendment. We hadn't gotten the final amendment yet. So we need to amend one more time to add the account information. So 42 is 21. So we have to reconsider first?
Yes, we need to reconsider to actually place the condition back on, and the condition at this time will only be to receive the appropriate account information.
Okay. So we need to unwind it. So 21-0849, I'm going to make a motion to reconsider.
Second.
Let's vote on reconsidering.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
The item is before you to move forward, amended on condition.
Okay, so now I'm sorry, we're not going to amend now. We're going to move it forward on condition that we receive the amendment, or we're going to amend here?
If you would like to, for the original amendment that we received earlier, which only updated the MOU language between finance and public works, to stand and amend it and then place approve it as amended on condition, or we can just move it forward on condition that we receive the complete.
Let's take that approach. I'll make a motion to approve on condition that we receive the amendment that is needed.
Second.
All right, let's vote. Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens?
Yes.
Councilmember Westmoreland? Okay. The vote is closed. This item is favorable on condition with 4 0 nays.
Okay. Let me see. 43 stayed in committee. Let me see what the next paper is that we have. It's 59. No, 59 we did. Is 61 our next paper?
Yes, that is our next item.
Okay. 61 is 21-0778, an ordinance by Councilmember Michael J. Bond to amend Chapter 2, Administration, Article 2, Council, Division 14, Staff. Section 2-152, Council Assistance, Subsection E of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances to update the total amount allocated for annual appropriation to fund costs associated with health insurance to include 2 permanent part-time employees in the appropriate account and for other purposes. This has been held for a minute, and I believe there's an amendment to it. So I'll make a motion to amend, and I'll tell you what the amendment does. Give me a second.
Well, I'll second, but I need to hear a lot more about it. But thank you. Second.
Yeah. Okay, let's just vote on the amendment. The amendment adds language requiring finance to fund the health insurance benefits. Let's vote on the. What, Ms. Kempson, right? Do you? Let me find the amendment paper. Yeah. Can you read us the amendment paper? Yeah.
And how's the amendment different from what we have now?
Yeah. Ms. Kempson, right? Can you tell us that?
Yes, I will try. The amendment is adding a new Section 3 that states the Chief Financial Officer will coordinate with the Department of Human Resources and City Council staff to determine the appropriate funding level for benefits, including health insurance, group life, pension, and others, as well as permanent part-time salaries for the upcoming budget year. The difference is from the current legislation, it was the request of the sponsoring council member to currently you're allocated $205,743 in your salary permanent part-time account, and he wanted the Department of Finance to fund 2 of your employees in the health insurance contribution employee account. His request was not to decrease your allocation, but rather so that your salaries could be used completely for salaries, and that finance will provide you funding for 2 accounts. I believe the Department of Human Resources Commissioner and the Chief Financial Officer are on the call. Finance did work with Human Resources, and that is why we have the proposed amendment. For more discussion as far as the actual amount to be discussed during the preparation of the FY23 budget.
Okay. Why don't we, Mr. Shook, would you like to hear from Mr. Baller or Mr. Norman?
Thank you.
Do you have a choice of HR or finance that you want to hear from?
Both.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Baller. Yep.
Hello, good afternoon. Mohammed Baller, Chief Financial Officer. And that is correct what Ms. Kempson stated. So as it currently stands, there is a budget for the council member in the group health insurance contribution line item, and the salaries permanent part-time allocation of $205,000 is intended to be for salaries as well as health insurance benefits to council members and council member aides. So we agree that the of allocation for group health insurance should be in that appropriate line item. The question then becomes is, should there be an offset in the salaries per minute part-time allocation annually? As it stands right now, funding the additional 2 positions for the 16 council seats, including the council president, is roughly $250,000 a year. And, this is based on today's insurance costs, and it could be more. So we would like to have that comprehensive dialogue during the budget development process of what the appropriate offset in the council budget should be, if any, or if there is room to absorb it in the general fund budget. That conversation could be had constructively and holistically during the FY23 budget process.
Okay, Mr. Shook, do you have any answer to your questions, concerns?
Yeah, thank you. Motion to hold.
I'll second that. Any other questions for finance or HR?
So this is Archibong. We are holding it again for what purpose?
Mr. Shook?
Well, I think we're holding it to get more information. I mean, it wasn't too long before you and I got there when council had no offices, had no staff. It was a mailbox, and since then it's grown exponentially, as bureaucracies always do. And so I'd like to hear more information about Len's proposed expansion.
Well, and let me also tell you, I was a little bit confused here. This item is on held, so if we're going to leave it held, we don't need to do anything. If somebody wants to move it forward, then we need that kind of motion.
Thank you.
All right. I read it because I think that the sponsor had wanted it discussed. But I don't know if we have anybody who wants to move it forward at this time. All right, then I'm going to move on from that if there is not a desire to make a motion. Mr. Dickens, what do we need to do with 63, which seems to be a companion piece that's held? Would you like that one moved forward? Or did the other paper take its place?
I think Mr. Dickens had to drop off.
Okay. Is Kadira still with us? Okay. I think that we just leave this one here. I think the other paper covered this. If it didn't, we still have 2 weeks to come back to it. Ms. Kempson, right, the water refund paper, do we need to do it today? 64?
Yes, I'm having substitute.
Okay, so our water refund paper is 21R 4120. We're ready to fill in the blanks and give people's refunds back to them. So we find what that dollar figure ends up being. It is a resolution by Councilman Jennifer and I to substitute by Finance Executive Committee authorizing the CFO to refund customers for overpayments to water and sewer accounts in an amount of $36,288.02. All funds to be charged to and paid from Fund Department Organization and account number 5051, Water and Wastewater Revenue Fund, balance sheet default, refund payable, and for other purposes. So I will make a motion to bring forward the substitute that fills in that $36,288.02.
Second.
All right, let's vote on bringing forward the substitute.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
For Dickens? Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
The substitute is before you.
All right, I'll make a motion to adopt on substitute.
Second.
All right, let's vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Westmoreland?
Yes.
This item is favorable on substitute with 4 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. That brings us to 65, I believe, is ready to move forward. Mr. Westmoreland, is that right?
Well, it'll move forward, but then it'll need to come back to us for a second reading on December 1st, but I'll make a motion to move it forward.
Okay, let me read the caption, and then we'll do that. 21-0777, an ordinance by Councilmember Matt Westmoreland, Carla Smith, Joyce M. Shepard, Marcy Collier Overstreet, Andrea L. Boone, Michael Julian Bond, Justin R. Hillis, Andre Dickens, Madeline M. Archibald, and Antonio Brown, and substituted by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the charter of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, 1996, Georgia laws, page 4469, and following, adopted under and by virtue of the authority of the Municipal Home Rule Act of 1965, as amended by amending Part 1, Charter and Related Laws, Subpart A, Charter, Article 6, Revenue and Fund Administration, Chapter 3, Fiscal Control, to establish the, quote, Building the Beloved Community Affordable Housing Trust Fund by adding a new paragraph 4 to create an affordable housing account for the purpose of appropriating 2% of the City of Atlanta General Fund budget to be phased in over a 3-year period at the beginning of each fiscal year to ensure adequate annual funding for affordable housing initiatives and for other purposes. And this is a charter amendment, and so this would be its first adoption. So I will second Mr. Westmoreland's motion.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickens? Councilmember Shook?
Aye.
This item is favorable, 4 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. I believe that's the end of our legislative agenda. Is there anything that I missed?
That concludes all legislative items, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you so much. If nobody has anything else, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Have a great afternoon, everybody.